outtake. Well, take. And senior political analyst Britt Hume, who's here on the fallout. But first, we go to Trace Gallagher, who's live at our breaking news desk. Hey, Trace.
Hey, Megan, in calling for the obstruction of justice investigation, Utah GOP Congressman Jason Chaffetz is citing evidence that focuses mainly on a 3.5-month period from December of 2014 to March of 2015. December of 2014, you'll recall, is when Hillary Clinton and her team turned over some 55,000 work-related emails to the State Department. That same month, according to FBI files, top Hillary Clinton aide Cheryl, who's also a lawyer, apparently instructs unnamed employees of Platte River Networks, that's the company that maintained Clinton's server, to delete the old archives and make sure new emails are only saved for 60 days. But in March of 2015, when the New York Times broke the story of Hillary Clinton's private email server, the Benghazi Select Committee issued a new flurry of subpoenas to obtain the emails. And the FBI files show that a Platte River employee had a, quote, oh blank moment, realizing he didn't wipe the server clean back in December like he was supposed to. Days later, Hillary Clinton's aides and lawyers have a conference call with Platte River employees, and House Republicans say despite the emails being under subpoena, a new round of deleting begins, including the use of a computer shredding program. In a letter to the U.S. Attorney for D.C., Chaffetz writes, quoting, "The department should investigate and determine whether Secretary Clinton or her employees and contractors violated statutes that prohibit destruction of records and concealment or cover-up of evidence material to a congressional investigation." Here's more of Hillary Clinton trying to knock this thing down. Watch.
The FBI resolved all of this. Their report answered all the questions. The findings included debunking his latest conspiracy theories.
Congressman Chaffetz is also calling on the FBI to release public testimony of Clinton aides and employees of Platte River. Megan.
Trace, thank you. Joining me now, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Napolitano, who reviewed these FBI documents, and he joins us now with what he found dumped right before Labor Day. As she's done this 4 times now, she's actually, you know, she or her team, right. they somehow they always find a way before Memorial Day, before July 4th, before Labor Day, and then the other one was New Year's Eve, right? Those are the 4. Look, there it is. Purely coincidental, but what may have happened here is important. You don't get a subpoena and then start destroying documents.
Well,
that's not okay.
Okay, so that is what happened here. Congressman Chaffetz is correct in his timeline. The subpoena was issued and then the documents were destroyed. Congressman Gowdy is correct. We're talking about 2 different committees. Congressman Chaffetz runs the House Oversight Committee, Congressman Gowdy the House Benghazi Committee. Both put on notice Secretary Clinton. In fact, Congressman Gowdy's committee put Secretary Clinton on notice while she was still Secretary of State.
Because they were like, wait a minute, you have your own private server? And you didn't give us any of the documents from it in response to our earlier subpoenas? Well, we want that. And you better not destroy anything between now and the time we get it. And she did.
Correct. Now we found out that it was destroyed. Now here's the very, very troubling news. We learned this on Friday. We learned this from the FBI. The FBI knew that servers were wiped clean, that BlackBerries were smashed and destroyed, and that a laptop was lost in the U.S. mail. The FBI ought to have pursued Mrs. Clinton and the people around her for obstruction of justice, and it did not do so. That is exceptionally distressing. The case against her for failure to secure state secrets is overwhelming. Now the case against somebody, we don't know who, for obstruction of justice is overwhelming, and Megan, the FBI has done nothing. Someone, somewhere, it must be the White House, has restrained the FBI from doing its job.
You look at the evidence right before this Platte River Networks. They were the ones who deleted her email archives pursuant to her order, is how it looks. This is the guy who had the oh blank moment. He had been told to do it before. He claims, oh, I forgot, and then I saw the subpoena, and suddenly I remembered I was supposed to delete everything, everything of interest.
They're going to blame me. I better take a sledgehammer to a couple of BlackBerries.
Right. So, but here's what happened before he did the deleting after the subpoena. He had a conference call with Secretary Clinton's attorneys just days before the deletions, created a work ticket on or about the day of the deletion, used BleachBit, a software program designed to prevent recovery of evidence, manual deletion of backups, and on it goes. And the question is, was this intentional, and what were they hiding, if anything?
How could it not have been intentional with the regular, consistent, systematic destruction of evidence? And I'm sorry to tell you, her lawyers may have been involved in this, which adds another entirely different level of culpability.
What if they say none of this stuff was responsive, and therefore we didn't need to keep it? It was all yoga, blah, blah, blah. You know, like that was, who cares? We could delete that stuff.
She swore under oath to a federal judge, and she swore under oath to 2 congressional committees. She returned all of her work-related emails. The FBI found 17,800 work-related emails that she failed to return. Not all of them were readable because some of them had been destroyed. You tell me that's not a prima facie case of obstruction of justice, and the FBI has done nothing about it. And I don't know how far Congressman Chaffetz is going to go. Election day is 63 days from now. I don't even know that he could get to first base between now and Election day on this.
You say the DOJ actually, I mean, the FBI actually violated policy in that interview. You believe they violated their own policy.
Yes.
How?
Her lawyers told the DOJ she will not show up for an interview if you record it. It is policy of the DOJ to record every interview. There is no record of what she said other than the summaries written by the FBI agents who were in the room and who listened to her. In this digital age, there is no recording. There's a verbatim recording of every single other one of the witnesses interrogated in this case, except for Mrs. Clinton.
Wow. I'm sure.
How far can this go?
I'm sure the average Joe watching at home right now could get such an exception as well. I'm sure.
Right.
If they got in trouble, there'd be no problem with all the stories that she has told that have turned out just not to add up. And then this. Listen, maybe there'll be an explanation other than the FBI has cleared me and you're all a bunch of idiots.
Right.
We'll wait for that. Judge, good to see you.
Well, good to be with you.
Well, she didn't really say that second part. So this story is the latest in a series of damaging revelations from Mrs. Clinton, covering both her handling of classified information and questions about the Clinton Foundation. Along with those revelations, we've seen a gradual but